on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue.
Flex. Buckle up and join the best. Let's see, relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe the soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to
Citi 97.3 Accra.
Efia, I've been thinking, have you noticed the changes in our community?
Kajo, things are really different now. The MPP has really made a difference.
Exactly. Free SHS, healthcare, new factories. It's like a whole new Ghana.
And don't forget, electricity is so much reliable now. I remember when we used to go days without light.
True, the MPP has done a lot to improve the basics.
Ajwa is a beneficiary of free SHS, and now she is in university.
And that's the kind of leadership we need. Someone who is focused on making things better for everyone. But Efia, still there are a lot more to be done for the development of Ghana.
Absolutely, Kojo. The MPP has shown that real progress is possible.
On December 7th, let's vote to keep this positive impact going. Vote number 1 on the ballot. Vote MPP for a better and prosperous Ghana.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Citi News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is the Election Bureau. Hello and welcome to Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu, and tonight I'm here with
Eno Safo.
Coming up over the next 90 minutes.
We will de-escalate where we want to de-escalate. But when we have to be ruthless in the enforcement of the law, within the context of rule of law, we will stop at nothing.
Ghana's Chief of Police, Dr. George Ekuffo-Dampare, vows that his administration would deal ruthlessly in enforcing the law during the general election. We'll be hearing more on the plan to do just that. Also coming up, why the Attorney General's Department is celebrating the payment of $5 million to GCNet over the abrogation of its contract. And later on Eyewitness News,
Brigadier General Obogu has been mandated by President Ekuffo-Addo to take charge of a well-crafted scheme that has been designed by the MPP to rig the upcoming elections, particularly in the Ashanti region.
the National Democratic Congress is up in arms against the General Officer Commanding of the Central Command of the Ghana Armed Forces. They say he's planning and plotting to rig the election for and on behalf of the government in the Ashanti region. Brigadier General Michael Opoku stands accused tonight. This and more and many other stories here on Eyewitness News. And in business,
President Ekuffo-Addo shows of constant electricity supply following commissioning of Bridge Power Project.
That's in 50 minutes from the Citi Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations across the globe. We are on citinewsroom.com. We are on YouTube. Look for Facebook. Go to YouTube and Facebook and look for Citi FM. You would find live streaming there. If you're going outside Accra, let me give you a number of radio stations that are bringing you this broadcast. In Western Region, we are on Adwinpa 100.7 FM. In Takwa, Beach 105.5 FM in Takoradi. In the Bono region, we are on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, we are on Adrianpa 99.9 FM in Nkawie. In the Volta region, we are on Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohwe. On Freedom 88.1 FM in Sugakopa. In the Northern region, we are on Radio Gaki 88.3 FM in Saboba. In Upper East, we are on Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. And in the Northeast region, we are on Nobia 98.1 FM in Nalerugu. You can join the conversation by sending a message to WhatsApp 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. Let's start off with a story that is trending. Now, this story has to do with a contract that was abrogated by the government of Ghana somewhere in 2018. Now, this is a company that has been in the country for more than a decade. Now, there has been a challenge which has actually gone to a tribunal for determination. And tonight, we are hearing that the government of Ghana is going to pay over 5 million Ghana cedis. So, in fact, is the company, we are told, is also supposed to make some payments to Ghana. However, the big issue that many people are talking about is the fact that we are paying 5.4 million for the termination of that contract with GCNet. The Attorney General, though, is celebrating. So why are you celebrating the hefty sums of money being paid to another company over an abrogation of a contract by the government? Wilberforce Mensah speaks for the Attorney General's office. He's joined us on the line. Say, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, Umaru. And I think it's an order that I call you Lawyer Umaru.
No, I am not a lawyer. You are the lawyer. I'm not. So tell me about this decision and why you are, instead of crying for using 5.4 million cedis of our taxpayers' money to pay a private company, instead of letting us cry, you want us to celebrate. Explain, please.
Okay, so the 5.4 million is an amount that has always been what was offered GCNet. So when the contract was terminated, now in the contract there is a clause for early termination, and this clause indicates, or following this clause, if you terminate the contract early, the company, being GCNet, are entitled to 5.4 million. So that's where the 5.4 million is actually coming from. So the position Ghana has always maintained, the position of the government has always been that we have terminated your agreement. Your agreement, the extensions that were given in respect of your agreement were not in line with the laws of Ghana, specifically the Public Procurement Act. So what we are saying is that we are terminating your agreement because the extensions are unlawful, and then per the agreement, an early termination entitles you to 5.4 million. And this is the 5.4 million we are offering you. So even before the case went to arbitration, we offered them 5.4 million. So if, as part of the arbitration, we are paying 5.4 million, how is it a loss? Because throughout the entire case, throughout the entire arbitration, we have said, and it's $5.4 million actually, the position of Ghana has always been that GCNet, you are only entitled to the 5.4 million and any interest thereof. You are not entitled to anything else. And GCNet wanted more. GCNet were asking for amounts way in excess of that. Now, when we went to arbitration, the decision of the arbitration clear that all the claims of GCNet has failed in light of the superior arguments that were put forward by the learned Attorney General Godfrey Adame. The claims of GCNet has failed to the extent that GCNet, even though they marshaled 3 different law firms against the learned Attorney General and his team, GCNet are supposed to pay the Attorney General, they're supposed to pay cost of legal services, let me put it that way, and other costs totaling $2.2 million, which is the equivalent of roughly 4 billion Ghana cedis. So this is money. If the Attorney General is celebrating, or he decides to celebrate, he's not celebrating for himself as a person, because this is money that would be going to Ghana coffers, or there will be some offset of a sort in respect of the monies that GCNet, that the government of Ghana was already offering GCNet. So, I mean, when it comes to international arbitration, I always do this challenge to the media, or whenever such issues come up, that they should mention one case that the learned Attorney General has lost in respect of international arbitration. And it's a fact. So this is something that he does on a regular. This is something that winning such cases wouldn't be. It's not outside his learning, his learning as a lawyer, and he has indeed ensured that the claims by GCNet, the gargantuan amounts that they were claiming, that all the claims failed in light of the superior arguments that were put forward by the learned Attorney General. And he did this not for himself, but for the Republic of Ghana. So it has to be made clear that the $5.4 million is not money coming from somewhere. It's money that the government of Ghana already offered the claimants, being GCNet. This is money that, per your contract, per the early termination clause, you are entitled to $5.4 million. And that's where we are now. So how the notion out there, or some people mischievously putting out certain claims that the Attorney General has lost international arbitration, has been ordered to pay $5.4 million, is only mischief. It's not well thought of in light of the clear judgment. How does the Attorney General lose a case and then the winning party has been ordered to rather pay him? In arbitration, the rules on arbitration are clear. The losing parties pay the legal services of the winning party. Nobody has asked the government of Ghana to pay the legal services of. They were asking for $4 million in legal services. If the Attorney General had lost the case, Ghana would have been made to pay the extra $4 million aside the claims that they were making, which were adding up to about $100 million. Now, the $5.4 million is what the government has said, this is what you are entitled to, and that's exactly how much they have been proffered from the beginning. So the win, of course, lies in the bosom of the learned Attorney General, and it's something that the entire country should celebrate.
Okay, so to just clarify the issue, we had a contract with GCNet, and there was an agreement that whoever terminates the contract pays the other party 5.4 million cedis. And because we terminated, and we here means the Republic of Ghana, we're duty bound to pay the 5.4 million cedis. GCNet said is that correct? Is that correct so far?
Yes. If I should come in.
Yes.
So it's an early termination clause. An early termination clause happens when during the tenure of an agreement, before the end of that agreement. So the tenure of this agreement was supposed to have ended in 2023. And then based on the legal issues that I mentioned earlier, the government decided that because of the impropriety of the extension of the agreement, this agreement started in 2012 thereabout, in 2000 thereabout. So it's been a long-standing agreement, and it's been extended several times. And there are legal issues based on the Public Procurement Act, and based on the legalities and other factors, there was an early termination. So the contract was supposed to have ended in 2023. However, in 2018, based on the legal issues I mentioned earlier, there was an early termination. So
yes.
when there's an early termination...
So that's the point I'm making. So because of that termination by Ghana, we were duty bound to pay the 5.4 million, and we were willing and ready to pay, but GCNet did not agree. So we went for arbitration, and the arbitration has affirmed that the earlier agreement that we should pay 5.4 million. So we'll pay the company 5.4 million and not what it was demanding. That's correct. However,
absolutely, and I must add that there was a value for money assessment done before the government decided to pay or decided to terminate the contract and pay 5.4 million. So from the position of Ghana, it's less of a financial burden to pay this 5.4 million than to let this contract progress.
Okay.
This is the briefing I have, and that's the understanding that went into the early termination and the 5.4 million, which Ghana already offered GCNet corollary to the contract.
So we'll pay the 5.4 million, and the company will also pay us 2 million. That's what you're saying.
Yes, so I think more or less there will be 2.2 million. So there will be an offset. So right now, instead of Ghana paying the 5.4 million, Ghana is going to pay a lot less, about half of the amount. And I think that's a victory for Ghana, and that's money saved to the ordinary taxpayer.
Very well. Has GCNet got the right to appeal this decision? Is that part of the agreement? And if they appeal, what's the consequence?
Yes. An arbitration award is final. You can't appeal an arbitration award. So arbitration, unlike regular litigation, both parties have submitted themselves to the award as is given. And the only way you can appeal, there's only a limited number of reasons under which you can appeal. For instance, if you can establish fraud and all those things, or some kind of impropriety amongst others. But in the case as it stands now, nobody has alleged fraud against either party or even the arbitration tribunal, and the award is final.
Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much, Lawyer Umaru.
This is misapplication and misrepresentation and misqualification.
Good evening, sir.
That's Lawyer Wilberforce Mensah. He speaks for the Attorney General's office. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am journalist Umaru Sanda Amadu. And Eno has a story for us from another lawyer. Eno.
Right. The Supreme Court has scheduled December 18 to deliver its judgment on the case challenging the constitutionality of the anti-LGBTQ plus bill filed by Richard Delasky. The case, which has been pending since May 2024, has drawn criticism from proponents of the bill who accuse the Chief Justice of delaying its resolution. However, the Judicial Service clarified that the delay was due to the failure of parties involved to file the necessary processes to advance the case. The Speaker of Parliament and the Attorney General were subsequently granted leave to file their defences. During Tuesday's hearing, parties relied on the documents already filed. The court also allowed the applicant to amend portions of his statement of case, granting the defendants the right to respond. The judgment has been adjourned to December 18.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Hi, Aku. I just got the estimate for the home repairs.
This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. It's 8 minutes to 1800 GMT. 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu here with Eno Safo. It is some 18 days to election 2024. Have you found your voter's card? Have you checked your details through the exhibition system by the EC? Are you ready to vote? The largest opposition party, the National Democratic Congress, called a press conference today, at which press conference they made an allegation against a soldier. Sami Jemfi is National Communications Officer of the NDC. He's joining us on the line. Sami, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Hello? Yeah, Mr. Sami Jemfi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. Good evening to you.
Good evening, my brother.
We saw an invitation where you said you were going to unmask the persons behind the rigging plot of election 2024. You called a press conference today and you did the unmasking, except that you went to announce a military man. What do you have against this particular person, and what has the person done, for which reason you called a full-blown press conference to make the allegations against him?
Well, Sanda, the person we are discussing is not an ordinary military man. This is a man who has thrown professionalism to the dogs, thrown patriotism to the dogs, and has turned himself into a rabid MPP fanatic, determined to do everything the MPP wants, including aiding them to rig the 2024 elections. And his record bears this assertion out. You see, the person we are talking about is Brigadier General Michael Kwadwo Opoku. Listeners will recall that not too long ago, specifically in 2019, this man was the of security, where we usually call Blue Gate, and he was the director of.
Hello, Sami, can you hear me?
Can hear you.
I'm having difficulties hearing you. Your line is breaking.
Oh, is it better now?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. Brigadier General Opoku was the director of operations at National Security when we held the Ayawaso West Ogon by elections on the 31st of January 2019. And we all saw what happened. We saw known MPP thugs clothed in national security apparels and armed to the teeth, attacking, brutalizing, maiming innocent Ghanaians. We saw atrocities in an election never witnessed in the history of Ghana. The president set up the Emil Short Commission of Inquiry to probe the matter. At the end of the investigations, it was established by the commission that the mastermind of the Ayawaso West Wagon mayhem and brutalities was none other than Brigadier General Opoku. At the time, he was Colonel Opoku. In fact, when he appeared before the Short Commission and testified under oath, he confessed that he is responsible, or he was responsible, for the nefarious activities of that so-called SWAT team who attacked innocent citizens of this country unprovoked. Now, the commission therefore recommended that he be reprimanded for acting in such a despicable manner, leading to injuries and the atrocities we also on camera, including the assault of a certain member of parliament, Honorable Sam George, the MP for Ningo Pram Pram. So they recommended that he be reprimanded. But, sadly, but also surprisingly, President Akufo-Addo, under whose instructions he acted, issued a white paper and decided to shield him from liability and punishment. We are only finding recently that this man who was supposed to be reprimanded per the recommendations of the Short Commission has been promoted to the position of Brigadier General, from Colonel to Brigadier General. As if that was not enough, President Akufo-Addo has rewarded him with a juicy appointment as the General Officer Commanding of the Central Command of the Ghana Armed Forces. And when we talk about the Central Command, I mean, the seat of the Central Command is Kumasi, the capital of the Ashanti region. And so that is where he's been operating from. And he was given this position, strangely, only in this year, this election year. In fact, he was inducted July this year. And we are saying that no, a person like Brigadier General Opoku doesn't deserve a promotion. He doesn't deserve, a reward. Or he doesn't deserve the position he's currently occupying. Because this is a man who has proven to be a very devious character. This is a man who is a threat to peaceful elections in the history of this country. This is a man who would do everything it takes, even if it means beating, maiming, and killing people, just so the MPP can achieve their electoral objectives. We saw that in full display during the Ayawaso West Wagon by-elections. And he himself is on record to have taken responsibility for that. He himself was indicted by the Short Commission, which has the powers of a high court. So how can we, as a country, promote such a person and give him such a critical position? But that aside, we have come by credible intelligence that this man is implementing the same strategy he implemented relative to the Ayawaso West Wagon by-elections in the Asante region. He's having meetings with the likes of Untumi. He's turned his official residence into a storage facility for weapons, ammunition, illegally printed ballot papers, security uniforms, and so on. And as I speak, we have pictures of MPP vigilantes who are being trained at Asotuare and other military sites, in this country. And this man, once Colonel Opoku, today Brigadier General Opoku, is the main person behind this. And we are saying, no, we cannot allow this man to be second time lucky with violence. This country is a peaceful nation. It is all we have. Elections are about counting heads and not cutting heads. No person must lose their life on the altar of elections. We want this election to be peaceful. And so this guy who has proven to be a threat to peaceful elections should be nowhere near the security architecture of this country. And that is why we have called on the IGP, who is the chairman of the 2024 election security task force, to investigate this matter. If he calls us, we will go and we will share our intelligence and evidence with him. We are also going to petition the Chief of Defense Staff, who this Brigadier General Opoku doesn't respect, because he thinks that he has the ears of the president. And in fact, he openly and publicly boasts about the fact that the president has promised to make him the CDS should he help the MPP rig the election. Their game plan is simple. Train and clothe MPP vigilantes in military uniforms to be deployed by this Brigadier General, who happens to be the General Officer Commanding for the Central Command, to go intimidate, harass, beat, maim, and even kill NDC agents and supporters, like they did at Ayawaso West Wagon. And once they are able to do that and put fear in the people, they now intend to stuff ballot boxes with illegally printed ballot papers, swap ballot boxes and pink sheets, and so on. That is their game plan. But we have stated, and I want to repeat, they will not get away with it. Violence cannot and will not win the MPP this election. The true will of the people of Ghana, as expressed at the polls, is what will stand at the end of the day. And so that is the reason for our press conference today.
I see. Sami, did you take this your evidence to the Armed Forces High Command to report one of their own? Have you done that?
No. We're going to do that. That has not been done. But the first thing you do when you come by such a damning, information, such dark secret, is to shed sunlight on it.
Okay, now that you have done that, when are you going to the
of the realm?
When will you go to the
media, which is the fourth estate of the realm, and by extension the general public, needed to know that this guy who was responsible for the Ayawaso West Wagon mayhem has been given this appointment and promotion. This election
I'm not sure the issue is really about promotion and appointment. I mean, those are discretionary powers that are exercised. It's about the
but that discretionary power ought to be exercised responsibly.
Yes, but then again, if you have a challenge, maybe Shraj or somewhere else. But my issue,
a commission of inquiry with the powers.
No problem. But the commission did not say
indicted somebody.
Yes.
As a man responsible for those atrocities.
Yeah, but it did not say he should not be promoted. And the white paper that came, you know the consequence of a white paper. But in moving forward, the claim that you've made about him having weapons in his house and having thumb-printed or stashing ballot papers, I believe that would be the bigger issue, not necessarily
my brother,
the promotion.
The issue is that
just a second. Let me land with my premise and my question.
For him to be reprimanded, has he been reprimanded?
No problem.
You reprimand an errant military officer by increasing his rank from colonel to brigadier general and by making him the commanding officer for Central Command. Is that how you reprimand somebody?
So I'm saying that now that you have what you did today, when next are you going to, you've mentioned the IGP, but have you done a formal complaint to the IGP, and when are you going to do that if you have not?
We have already served notice that we will be petitioning.
Yes, I want to know the when.
And in the coming days, the petition will be sent and we'll share copies with you.
And the armed forces too?
Yes, the CDS and the IGP. These two personalities.
I was not at your press conference.
And of course,
did you share
development partners?
Did you share photos and videos that you claim you have of activities in his residence? Have you shared that already?
We have not spoken about photos of activities in his residence.
You said you have evidence.
Come again?
I thought you said you had evidence of picture evidence of something happening in his house, or I didn't hear that right.
We have spoken about picture evidence. We spoke about our credible, incontrovertible, rock-solid intelligence about the nefarious activities that this particular military officer is engaging in. And when we petition the appropriate, officers, and they call us, they give us audience, we are going to share this intelligence with them.
But you will share with the fourth estate of the realm, which you believe needs to know.
We will do that. Look, this is a man who has been made so powerful by Akufo-Addo. Today, go to his official residence. It is guarded by heavily armed military men 24/7. So if you ask us to give you photos and exactly what are you talking about here? The track record of the person bears the assertions we are making out there. And you can't tell me, in all honesty, that is a mere coincidence that in an election year, of all the people in the military, this is the only person Akufo-Addo found worthy to be the general commander of Central Command. How can you tell me that? Is he the only person who could have done that work? A person with such a dubious reputation, indicted by a commission of inquiry, a person against whom recommendations have been made that he should be reprimanded for supervising election-related violence, maiming people, shooting people, beating people. In which serious country can this happen? In which this man should be languishing in jail. Not to be promoted the way he's being promoted. There is a sinister agenda behind his promotion to the rank of brigadier general and his appointment as the general officer commanding for the Central Command. There is a sinister agenda, and we have that intelligence. We know the meetings he's having with people like Untumi. We know the things he's been storing at his residence because he thinks it's a security zone and that nobody can go there. Our eagle eyes are on him, and we are saying that he will not be second time lucky.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's Sami Jemfi, his National Communications Officer of the NDC. They called a press conference today. At press conference, they made allegations against the officer commanding the Central Command of the Ghana Armed Forces that he is engaging in a rigging agenda to aid the governing party. Let me say that we've not been successful in getting comments from Burma Camp, the headquarters of the Ghana Armed Forces, on this matter. When we do, in response to the accusation against the Armed Forces officer in the Ashanti region, we'll share that with the public. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Talking about policing the election, The chief servant of the Ghana Police Service has been speaking today. Eno, please tell us more.
The Ghana Police Service is vowing to deal decisively with individuals who instigate violence before, during, and after December polls decisively. The Ghana Police Service believes that punishing those responsible will serve as a deterrent to others who might consider engaging in similar acts that threaten the peace and stability of the country. In an engagement with the Civic Forum Initiative at the police headquarters in Accra, Inspector General of Police Dr. George Akufu Dampare indicated that the police will take a zero-tolerance approach within the bounds of the law to punish individuals who engage in violent activities that threaten the peace during the electoral period.
Rest assured, we will engage where we want to engage. We will de-escalate where we want to de-escalate. But when we have to be ruthless in the enforcement of the law, within the context of rule of law, we will stop at nothing. And I repeat, we will engage when we have to engage. We will de-escalate when we want to de-escalate, and that is the best option. But we will enforce the law to the letter when we have to do that, because if that becomes the only option. So Ghanaians should be with us, bear with us, have our back, and for us to confront anybody who wants to take the peace of this country for granted. So be assured. So hoping and being convinced that the campaigning period will also end peacefully. We are now focusing on the D-Day and the post-D-Day activities.
You heard the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufu Dampare.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's go on the campaign trail now, shall we, Eno?
Yes, we shall. Let's start with the MPP, where flag bearer Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia insists that John Mahama's inability to govern for 8 years is enough reason to vote against him. According to Dr. Bawumia, a one-term John Mahama presidency will not be accountable to Ghanaians. Addressing stakeholders at Ahafwano Southwest constituency, Dr. Bawumia says his tenure will be more accountable in meeting the needs of Ghanaians.
Mini Omampenyin Dada Mahama Eleko Sakansi Didio Enyasa Yemi no Eko but only the Webedi Omampenyin Pen Webedi Omampenyin Pen Enti Yatumanwa Obetmedi Omampenyin FE 9 Pew Na Oko Motomami Ayamea do Metmedi Omampenyin FE Watchi FE Watchi Enyasa Erenti Motomamia Media Mesamba Habio Abebu Akunta Enyasa Ono dia omba habio mu Motomano ababa inu ode ko anono mu honobium baba inu oko media minimse efie na ndu a mesamba Enyasa Baba Ahafwano Southwest Abebu Akunta Abechiremu kwaya amaye Enyasa abechiremu schools amesi abechiremu electricity meaning say probably here electricity ewo constituents member abechire ejuma ayaye the electricity akomiamia bebre ho enti media minim say member abebu akonta nti meyire me ho abo ejuma din amamo nanu mumfastiano emami Monfastiano, Emame, Monfastiano, Emame, Namimbochika in Enko.
You heard MPP flag bearer Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. He was saying that John Mahama can only govern for 4 years, giving him little incentive to perform well. On the other hand, Bawumia can contest again if he wins, so he will be compelled to remain accountable to Ghanaians. He's asking Ghanaians to vote for him because he is the best option. Away from that, President Akufo-Addo has reaffirmed his administration's achievements in the road sector, stating that it has constructed more roads and interchanges than any other government, highlighting projects such as the Flower Pot Interchange, the Obechebi Interchange and the Pokwasi Interchange. The president described these developments as evidence of the new Patriotic Party's superior performance in infrastructure. Speaking at the commissioning of the Flower Pot Interchange, he urged Ghanaians to use the facility responsibly to ensure its longevity and safety.
From the northern savannas to acknowledge that this administration has constructed more roads and interchanges than any other in our nation's history. In the Greater Accra region alone, we have completed the Pokwasi Interchange, Tema Motorway Interchange Phase 1, Obechebi-Lamte Interchange Phase 1, the East Legon Underpass, and today, this Flower Pot Interchange. Beyond Accra, we've also delivered the first ever interchanges in the eastern region at Suhum and in the northern region at Tamale. Each of these projects tells a story of commitment, foresight, and a Ghana that is continuously moving forward. Our journey continues with 14 additional interchanges currently underway across Ghana, each at different stages of completion.
President Akufo-Addo there. Now, the Electoral Commission of Ghana has assured its readiness to conduct elections in the Boko Central constituency and surrounding areas despite ongoing security concerns. This assurance counters earlier speculations that residents in the conflict-prone area might be unable to vote on December 7, 2024. Speaking to Citi News, the Upper East Regional Director of the EC, William Obinga-Dakwa, stated that the Commission is collaborating closely with security agencies to ensure smooth and peaceful elections in the region.
Commission, we are prepared. You know, the issue there in Boko is purely security matter. So when it comes to general security for a particular place or a community, it is Ghana Police Service who are in charge. And we are liaising with them day in, day out. They are updating us the security situation. But we are going ahead to train our officials and then give them the necessary skill that will let them conduct the election over there. So we appeal to the people themselves, the inhabitants themselves, that they should create an atmosphere which is so peaceful so that we can have our officials and the materials at designated polling stations to conduct the election as mandated under the law. So the police are in charge, and so far we haven't had any adverse information from them telling us it can't be done. We are preparing. As I speak, we are in training mode, training all levels of officials who are supposed to take part and work, assiduously on election day to deliver. So everything is under control as far as the commission is concerned.
You heard the Upper East Regional Director of the Electoral Commission, William Obeng Adakwa.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens. Business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Ino Safa. Let's settle for the details. Ghana will no longer be held back by energy shortages as witnessed in the past. This is the assurance from President Akufo-Addo after he commissioned the Bridge Power Project in Pong in the Greater Accra region. The state-of-the-art facility is poised to boost Ghana's thermal generation capacity by 7%. Speaking at the official opening, President Akufo-Addo noted that his government, through effective collaboration, is committed to ensure energy security.
All of us remember the unfortunate, difficult periods of Dumso between 2012 and 2016 under the presidency of the perennial NDC presidential candidate, John Dramani Mahama, when systematic power outages disrupted lives and livelihoods across the nation. Those challenging times tested our resilience and our resolve as a people. Today, as we stand together to inaugurate the Bridge Power Station, we send a clear message to every Ghanaian. Ghana will no longer be held back by the energy shortages of the past. We are rising above these challenges and creating a future in which our energy supply supports our ambitions, not limits them. With the support of our committed partners, including Endeavour Energy, whose expertise and dedication have helped bring this vision to life.
President Akufo-Addo also assured of addressing the financial arrears owed the independent power producers to ensure a resilient economy through efficient power supply.
In which each unit of electricity produced emits less carbon dioxide. Our commitment to an environmentally responsible future is clear. We owe it to our children and future generations to preserve a greener, healthier planet. I'm proud to see Endeavour Energy join us on this mission. Ladies and gentlemen, today's inauguration is a call to every Ghanaian, every business, and every community to support this vital resource and protect it for generations to come. It is through our collective responsibility that we will maintain a resilient energy sector and move toward complete energy independence. This moment is an opportunity to forge stronger partnerships, foster unity, and uphold our commitment to a well-powered Ghana. Each megawatt generated here represents progress that we must cherish and sustain as we build a secure future for all. As we celebrate this achievement, I must recognize the contributions of independent power producers who have invested significantly to support our energy needs. These partners have been instrumental in enhancing our power capacity, My administration is committed to addressing the financial obligations impacting our ability to meet obligations to these valued partners. Together, we will build a sustainable, reliable energy future. In closing, I extend my deepest gratitude to Endeavour Engineer, the dedicated engineers, workers, and all who have contributed to this monumental achievement. We celebrate the dawn of a new era in Ghana's energy journey, one filled with strength, resilience, hope, and promise. Let us ensure that the Bridge Power Station remains a beacon of Ghana's vision, a shining testament to what we can accomplish when united for the common good. Accordingly, ladies and gentlemen, it is with immense pride and unshakable hope for our future that I declare the Bridge Power Station officially commissioned.
President Akufo-Addo speaking there. Now, the total local expenditure by mining companies in Ghana reached $3.1 billion in 2023, according to data from the Ghana Chamber of Mines. This marks a significant contribution to the local economy, with major allocations driving growth across key sectors. There's more in the following report by Daniel Sakiti.
A closer look at the 2023 data from the Ghana Chamber of Mines reveals that the majority of this spending, translating into $2.49 billion, was directed towards payments for goods and services, excluding diesel and electricity. This underscores the mining sector's pivotal role in supporting local suppliers and service providers. Other notable areas of local expenditure include electric power consumption, where mining companies paid $274.1 million for electricity usage, reflecting their heavy reliance on energy to power their operations. Payments for diesel consumed also amounted to $384.1 million, making it the third largest category of local spending. Other big-ticket expenditure were imported consumables, which reached $306.6 million in 2023. Capital expenditure also reached $804.9 million, signaling confidence in the industry's growth prospects.
That was a report by Daniel Sakiti. Now, the Ghana Rice Interprofessional Body has received a significant boost to enhance both the production and consumption of rice in the country. This follows the signing of a memorandum of understanding with Kali Ghana Company Limited, which will supply local rice farmers under the body with agrochemicals, improved seeds, and training. In an interview with Citi Business News, the president of the Ghana Rice Interprofessional Body, Nana Ejay Aye II, stated that the initiative will provide much needed relief to local rice producers.
We've been working with Kali Ghana, but this is just to make it official partnership with Kali Ghana, so that my farmer in the northern region, when he's walking into an agro input shop or the kind of shop that we are going to create for the farmers in the regions, they know that they are buying or purchasing a quality product, and also the product is going to be around anytime the farmer needs it. Right now, most of the time, if the farmer is ready to use agro input on the farm, it's either two things. We've imported them, they are not yet in, or we don't have it. We don't want this thing to go on anymore. So we are going straight company that produces this agro input to work with us.
That was the president of the Ghana Rice Interprofessional Body, Nana Ejay Aye II. And that's all for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Inu Safo. Up next is Point Blank.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. Citi News on 97.3 FM.
This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu. You're welcome. Point Blank tonight is focusing on Ghana football, but there's a political twist to it. I have 2 interviews coming up for you on the Ghana Black Stars. But before then, let's hear from former president and flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama. He was speaking today at Achimodan Lorry Station. And among the things he said to the people, he talked about the Ghana national team. Let's listen to him.
Black Stars are near the teacher. Bibia say Black Stars and poor near the teacher. And then the Black Stars are Titia Pansa 20 years ni Emrebia Yababo African Cup Black Stars Kobe. And so, and then the qualification point to me and qualify. The Jama Sudan Munina Sudan I am Kontokwa or Oma qualify call African Cup and a Black Stars there. Yake few. Ningina a Yamambo Bonia Yafam with you watching. And so Kabima Kabi Amambo. Am I Aquina and she 9 years? Say, yes, say, Abaya Abba and your man Kosuino. Am I Aquina, yes, sir? 27th December, Namia Dumye, Yako Kromoti, you bet me the assessor Abayano.
So that's the Lamentation, John chapter Mahama, verse 2024. The Ghana Black Stars Amanihono 1 and 2. In case you haven't heard, we will not be at the Africa Cup of Nations. We have been disqualified because we didn't score enough goals. It's as simple as that. And the question is, where is the problem from? Is it the supporters? Is it the footballers? Is it the management? Is it the coach? Is it the GFA? John Mahama thinks it's Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and his government. He said, Amamo Boni. Bad governance has translated into what's happening on the pitch. Is that really the case? Let's look at the political, let's leave the politics out and talk about the football technical side of things. George Friye has vied in the past to be president of the Ghana Football Association. He was unsuccessful. But before then, he was vice president of the Ghana Football Association. He's joining me on the line. Sir, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. This segment is called Point Blank. How are you doing?
I'm good, Umaru. Good evening to your cherished listeners this evening.
Good evening to you too. At what point did you realize that it was a lost case for the Black Stars during this qualification, or from the beginning or from the onset you could sense that we were not going to be up to any good?
Well, I think that when we didn't do well in our first 2 matches, I thought that the last 4 matches, the managers of the Black Stars will plan things well. I don't want to really blame them for the first 2 matches because in football sometimes some of these things happen. We were shocked in Kumasi by the Angolans, and then we drew with Niger away. Those first 2 matches were a bit shambolic, but then the last 4 is lack of proper planning and preparation. If you look at the back-to-back against Sudan, having picked only 1 point in your first 2 matches, you then have to sit down and analyze the whole qualifying series, and then strategize to know where to pick points and where to drop points. you were so fortunate to be going against a team that plays away from home, and that is Sudan and Niger. You were playing against two teams that play home away from home. That is Sudan, who is playing away from Sudan. They are playing at Benghazi in Libya. The other one is Niger, who has also pitched their camp at Morocco. And so once you know that you are going to play against this opponent, you need to strategize to see where you can pick your points. So let's start with Sudan. If you look at how players were called and the way they assembled and reported to camp in itself was a problem. In the past, what did we used to do? You are going to play 2 matches in a space of 5 days. And so the reporting time of each of the players is very important. It's as crucial as the match itself. Because as you're already aware, you are using about 99.9% of a foreign-based players. So most of these players have matches over the weekends. So what we normally do is that you make sure that as soon as you finish playing your match, a ticket is arranged for you. You fly down to Ghana to report to camp. So you take the case of Juku. Juku had a game on a Thursday. He reported somewhere Monday or Tuesday, which is unacceptable. So were so many other players. So the reporting time itself gave the coach a limited time to train and then play the match on a Thursday. Now, when they withdrew against Sudan on a Thursday, the FA, knowing very well that you are playing against an opponent who plays all its matches on an AstroTurf, an artificial pitch, all the Sudanese players, they train and play their matches on an AstroTurf. Unfortunately for us, our players play on a green grass field. So what do? You either wait here in Ghana, take advantage of a lot of AstroTurf and artificial turf scattered in Ghana, use them and fly in late. Fly in late means that, okay, we played on a Thursday. We can do a recovery on an AstroTurf on a Friday, and then train on another AstroTurf on a Saturday. Then fly to Benghazi. We can even train on a Sunday and then fly to Benghazi on a Sunday evening. Then on a Monday, we train on the match venue, the mandatory 1 hour, and then we play the match on a Tuesday. But what did our people do? They stayed in Accra, did a recovery on Accra Sports Stadium, knowing very well that you were going to play on an artificial turf. Our people stayed here, did a recovery here, flew to Benghazi on a Saturday evening, so a whole of Saturday was lost. Trained on a Sunday. Monday they had an hour training on the match venue pitch, and then played the match on a Tuesday. The Sudanese pitch is a bit smaller in size as compared to most of, but it's a standard pitch approved by FIFA. So all these things affected our performance in Benghazi, and that's how come we lost the game against because you could see from the game against Sudan in Benghazi, you realize that the 2 goals scored against us was as a result of our players failing to be able to run with their attackers. Some at one point, even the defender was falling. So these were some of the reasons why we couldn't match the Sudanese in their venue. Now, let's get to the other 2 matches. So having lost to Sudan, having picked only 1 point from Sudan game, now we were left with to go and beat Angola, and then also to beat Niger here in Ghana. At that point, qualification was not in our hands. Our destiny were not in our own hands. Our destiny were in the hands of doing the calculation. We win, this one lose, this one draw, so we can get there. And that is always difficult. Even if your opponent is doing the God's work for you, what is the guarantee that we were also ready to even win our matches? Let me tell you, Umaru, something significant that happened. When Ghana recently participated in the Wafu Zumbi Under-20 tournament, somebody who has managed the Ghana National Under-20 before, I was expecting to see the technical team of the Black Stars in Togo. Why am I saying that? all over the world now, youth players are dominating the senior team A. So I was expecting that Otto Addo and his technical men will be in Togo to see if they can see one or two players within the under 20 who can augment his existing squad. I was expecting that. I didn't see that. So guess what? On a Saturday morning, I had a call from a radio station and I said that I saw a young man in the under 20 team called Jerry Free. It's just by coincidence his name is Free, but I'm not related to him. I don't even know him anywhere. I think that that boy can play the under 20. That same evening, I heard that they've called him. And then another player in Heart of Lions is a centre back. Last season, within the Premier League, he scored about 9 to 12 goals. A defender, a central defender. So I told them that if Razak Simpson has been able to justify himself in Angola, Luanda, then I think that that guy also deserves a call-up. So they call him. Then I asked myself, so who is in charge of the Black Stars? Is Otto Addo the one doing the call-up, or there's somebody somewhere sitting somewhere remote controlling Otto Addo? So this is where we are, and this is what has brought us here.
So the prognosis for you is not necessarily the boys on the pitch. That's not where the problem is. The problem is outside there. And even though the GFA headquarters, not the GFA, the coach may be the problem, but you are also thinking it can be extended to the GFA headquarters.
Of course, the GFA has to take the chunk of the blame. Because you see, why am I saying this? You see, in all these problems that they are talking about, Otto Addo, the first question I want to ask is, Umaru, Ghanaians, we truly have short memories. And honestly, I remember very well when Otto was given the job to coach the Black Stars for the World Cup qualifying, the last match against Nigeria. Otto Addo made it clear that he's only in for that short stint. Otto made it clear to Ghanaians that I have not come for a long-term project. He said it. At that point, my view was that if Otto was just coming for a short-term stint, then we don't need him. Because you see, immediately after the World Cup was another World Cup qualifying series, was another African Cup of Nations qualifying series. And there was also another AFCON ahead of us in La Côte d'Ivoire. So if you are bringing in a coach whose mentality is already made up, whose mind is already made up, that I am coming to help Ghana only to qualify and better my CV at the World Cup and leave, then why did we give him the job? Fast forward, the man leaves you, you give the job to Chris Shooting, and then Chris is sacked, then you go and beg him to come and take the job. So why are we blaming Otto? Why are we blaming Otto Addo?
So the appointment of Otto in the first place was a wrong move. We should have gotten someone who is willing and ready to commit to the full haul, not someone who was coming on temporary basis.
Umaru, maybe you have forgotten. The president of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, in a video interview said, Otto, when we come, we'll kidnap you. Yet still, Otto said, I'm not ready for the job. Have you forgotten?
So it's a wrong choice ab initio. Now, I'll come back to you and ask you how this can be fixed. But if you do have time, kindly indulge me. I want to go on the other line and speak to the former president of GALCA. I want to speak to Kojo Fiano, GALCA, Ghana League Club Association. Let me ask his perspective. Let me ask his perspective. So kindly be on the line for me. Mr. Fiano, you're welcome to Point Blank on Eyewitness News. Apologies, I think I do not have the GALCA president. I'll go back to him. Mr. Freya, so the issue of players. In the past, when you look at the players that we parade on the pitch, there's something about them. Why are we blaming management and GFA, but we don't really talk about our players? I get the sense that we really don't have the talent. Or do we have the talent but not managing them well?
You see, Umaru, in every generation comes its own players. You cannot be comparing the generation of the Michaelesians and co. If you want to compare that, then you should also be ready to compare the players who also came up within the very various federations. But Umaru Sanda, let me be very honest with you. Nobody, and I repeat, nobody can convince me that Ghana, we don't have the talent to match
the Abochis of Niger, to match Sudan, a war-torn Sudan, to match the Angolans. What are we talking about? We are talking about a Ghana team that is made up of players in the Spanish La Liga. We are talking about 4 or 5 players in the English Premier League.
So we have the talent.
Yes, but you see, that is the point. It has to take a teacher to guide you to succeed.
Even if you are a smart
And so
student.
if you don't bring in a coach who has the face to be able to put the boys together to give you the results, you cannot be blaming the boys because they go back to your clubs and they perform.
Let me go back to Fiano, say, if you could just indulge me. Mr. Kujo Fiano, chairman of GACA, Ghana League Club Association. You're welcome to Eyewitness News. Mr. Free on the other line, he believes that we have the talent, the raw talent, is a management that has to be dealt with. I was going to launch it at you and say, you are the clubs. Does it mean that we are not producing quality material to feed the national team? Why that could be the reason? I'm not sure you're going to accept that. What is your own diagnosis of the state of Ghana Black Stars today? Where did we get it wrong? Management, on the pitch, GFA?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Great.
I think somewhere along the line I lost you.
Okay. Do you get my question? My question is, what's your diagnosis of how we ended here?
Oh, thank you very much. Let me say to your cherished listener, I just want to say that we got here because of gross mismanagement and not looking at the steps and then making the right decisions. Because we all saw the signs, and I think we all delayed in sounding the alarm bells because since this administration took office, we all saw what happened in Cameroon when we could not make it to the next stage of the competition. Then we came back, and it was like, okay, let's go, we'll make amends with the World Cup. We managed to get to the World Cup. The result is there for all of us to see. Now we'll make amends when we go to Abidjan. We went to Abidjan and there was nothing to write home about. Then came the qualification for the next edition of AFCON. And this is where we have found ourselves. So I believe that if we are taking the right decisions after Cameroon, if we are taking the right decisions after Qatar, if we are taking the right decision after Abidjan, wouldn't be where we are now. I think we delayed in making the right decisions.
So we delayed, and it's too late now. We have eggs on our faces. The question would be, this delay you talk about, is it the management of football generally in Ghana or specifically the management of the Black Stars by the head coach?
It is not the Black Stars alone.
Yeah, no. So I know we have a problem from top to bottom, but for purpose of this discussion, let's limit ourselves to the Black Stars, which is like the heartbeat of the nation, which is really in the news now. So at the Black Stars level, where would you and we need to blame so that we can fix. So who do you blame directly now?
I think we have entrusted the administration of football into some hands, and the Black Stars had the priority, being the flagship of the association, and they are failed woefully. Let me take the appointment of coaches. We kept changing coaches like we are changing our boxes. 5 years, I think 5 coaches.
With an unwilling one whom we forced to take the job.
Yes.
Who left us in Qatar and ran away?
And I remember very well, a couple of weeks, the very evening that appointment was made, I passed a comment on a platform where we have one of the ESCO members on. I described the reappointment of Otto, excuse my language, as baller. And the gentleman came back to me to ask whether I meant baller, and I said yes, with emphasis.
As in rubbish.
Complete. You see? So, we have had times where the Black Stars were described as GTP, meaning players from Greece, the Peter Folukwes, then you come to Turkey, the Sam Johnsons and the rest, then you come to Portugal. Even that, at least we go to tournament, we cross the first hurdle. Here we are having at least six players playing the EPL, playing week in, week out. And some in Spain, some in France, playing week in, week out. So if you cannot make it, then I don't know where the challenge is coming from. And I've already spoken about coaches. We've changed coaches like we've been changing our boxers. Now, player management. Are we saying that the players have been given the best of time? Yeah, you can say that, yes, they fly down in business class and stuff like that. If the director, if you are running an orchestra, and the director is not conducting himself, you think that that's why we give you the good teams. And the man at the top, those at the top, who should do the direction, they are clueless. Because at least if they are not clueless, they should have found antidote to what went on in Cameroon through Qatar to Abidjan. So it's just that they've lost it. They've lost it. And that's why we find ourselves in the mess that we find ourselves. If 24 countries out of 54 are to compete in the next AFCON, and Ghana is missing out. We played Sudan, we gave them 4 points. We played Angola, we gave them 4 points. We played Niger, and we gave them 4 points. So, and we think that people should still occupy their positions when it comes to football administration. I don't think so.
So, shut down GFA.
I think that they should do the honorable thing by this. I know that you'll find it difficult to do that because I spoke to one or two people in authority. I don't think they're interested in what is happening at the FA. So they know that at the end of the day, they will expect those in the football industry to take action.
Okay.
And they know that what action are we going to take? We may end up going to Congress. And you have congressmen who are already in the pockets of the FA. But that notwithstanding.
So you think they should resign on principle? If they don't, should the government step in and fire them or maybe shut down?
The government is using the taxpayers' money on this black star.
Yes, so should the government intervene if they don't resign voluntarily?
If they don't resign, they should keep our taxes to do other things.
So government should stop supporting the FA?
Yeah, we belong to FIFA. So FIFA could bring in money for them to run the football the way they want to have it. But so long as government puts in money on our behalf,
they should be accountable to us. Thank you for speaking to us.
They should be accountable to us. Yes.
Thank you. That's Kujo Fiano. He is chairman of the Ghana League Club Association of Ghana, GALCA. Let me go back. Mr. George Free is still on the other line. Mr. Free, is a solution removing the GFA president and bringing George Free there? And I'm saying this one in jest, but what I'm actually trying to say is that is the change of the administration of GFA, is that a solution?
You see, that's why people will be resigning honorably. You see, we have had a situation where we qualified to major tournaments and we even placed third, semi-finalist. And we come back and people said that when it comes to AFCON, we want to win it. If you ask me my personal view, I know they won't resign. If you look at the body language of the FA president, even if you admit that something has gone wrong, and then honestly and genuinely he's ready to fix it, why not? Everybody is ready to give him the support. But trust me, the kind of leader that we have, he knows it more than every single individual living in Ghana. And so even suggestions for him to even change things, he won't do it. He still believes that he can do it with just a few of his people surrounding him, giving him all the ill advices, and then they can change football. Honestly, between you and I, from where we sit, because we saw this thing coming, we said it, but nobody wanted to listen to us. Trust me, even your local league, the local league, you need to make sure that your local league is so competitive that we can get players to draft them into the senior team A. But what do we see? A local league that you can easily predict the outcome of a football match. Is that what we want?
So corruption is also part of the problems.
Oh, of course. Umaru, talk to your Friday panelists. Before the end of the league, about 5-6 matches before, we know what is going to happen. All the predictions will come true. JJ.
everything will come in as they will predict it. And so, honestly, I did my part because I know when we wanted to take over football from the normalization committee, some of us told the Ghanaian sporting public that, look, we need someone who is try and tested. We need someone who is not coming to do matramakwe. The mantra matramakwe it came from me. I said that on TV3. And that is exactly what Ketupreku is doing. Look, he came in with the national under-17 alone, which is supposed to be the foundation for our national teams. He's changed about 6-7 coaches. He came in, he saw Kwesi Appiah. He said where he wants to send the Black Star. Kwesi Appiah doesn't qualify to lead us to the promised land. He changed him as if he was going to bring a Mourinho. He brought him his assistant, C.K. Akono, manipulated C.K. Akono, and then brought in Otoado, and brought in Milovan Rajvan. Sacked Milo after the disastrous outing in Cameroon. And go and check all the things he said when we came back from Cameroon. The things he's writing today, those things he's writing today on his Facebook wall are the same things he said when we came back from Cameroon. Oh, we are going to fix it. It's because we came normalization committee, destroy our football, so we are picking it back. He said that in Cameroon. When we went to a World Cup and we came up within the first round, he said the same thing. We went to Abidjan here, we failed to win a single match. He said the same thing. Today we have failed to even qualify for a 24 nations AFCON. That is saying the same thing. We leave the judgment to Ghanaians. We
have become an embarrassment on the continent and in the world.
International ridicule. He has reduced us into international ridicule.
Should the government intervene? Or because of FIFA ban, we should just
if government is satisfied to be doling out money for players to fly, chartered flights to go to Angola, to go to Benghazi and all that, and this is the result they give you, and you are satisfied, they must continue to pay.
Thank you for speaking to us, sir.
Thank you, too.
That's George Friye. He's former vice president of the Ghana Football Association, GFA. Earlier you heard Kojo Fiano, who is chairman of GALCA, the Ghana League Clubs Association of Ghana. That has been the point-blank edition. Before then, you heard former President Mahama, who is saying is a memo that has really brought us this low. That's why for the first time in 20 years, the Black Stars of Ghana have not qualified to go for the AFCON. Meanwhile, we hosted the AFCON in 2008. So, we have to end the show. Good night, everybody.
Citi News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, Citi 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at Citi 973.